enterprise. We know that more than half of all jobs are produced by very small businesses. Where do very small businesses come from and either make it or die? Your neighbor. How are you organized to support, extend, and become a market for those activities? But what we're beginning to see is that if civil society doesn't surround children, we'll end up with a city like Chicago, where in the first 3 months of this year, 119 young people killed each other. They all went to school. What was missing? It's not the trials. It's our school. And finally, care. Institutions can provide a service. They can't provide care. Care is the commitment from the heart of one person to another. I will care for Charles across the street. I care for the children on his block. That's not something you can talk all you want about managed care or care providers who are paid. No, they're service providers. But if we want to reinvigorate real communities, then care is at the heart. And care grows from those relationships of mutual obligation. I care about this neighbor. I care about my neighbor. So why are we concerned about civil society and neighborhoods? It is because these questions of our well-being and finding satisfaction are ours. They're us. And universities can do so much in uncovering and sharing the possibilities in each of those domains for us to do the good work that we can do if we're connected. A few closing thoughts on how universities, if we want them to have experience with emptiness, then send them to a hospital where they will see people in their hurt and suffering. And that's all right, but we need to know what we're doing. But if we're really educating students for citizenship, then I think what we would do would be place them in a situation where they would learn about people's gifts, capacities, skills, associations, and connections. But too much service learning, I think, puts young people in institutions that focus on needs. So if they're a middle-class student and they go to some agency that is a helping agency meeting the needs of poor people, what is the message that that student walks away with when they come back? Oh, those poor people are broken. And if we had enough good professionals, they'd be fixed. Is that what you want to learn? Is that learning citizenship? So it might be as important to put people with neighborhood organizations, with any kind of association, with any economic development organization. So I think we need to think carefully about the pedagogy of a place and understand a lot of places teach people who are middle class about how broken poor people are. Now, second thing is we can, in the orientation of students, give them the map of how whatever gifts, talents, and skills they have could best be matched in a local place. Where do they need somebody who knows about computers, which everybody I know is a student knows, or who knows about jazz, or who knows about math. so that we're not just sending a body out, but we realize that they have gifts just like the neighbor. So we're gift matching, we're exchanging gifts. We're not serving these poor people. What do we want to get the students involved in learning? Do you have seminars for students who've been in field engagement activities? I think we should. And what is it that they might be learning? I think it's useful to consider the possibility that we would ask them on Thursday night, if they have a seminar on Friday, what's the biggest idea you've had this week as a result of what you've seen? And why? Because they have spent their years in the university learning how somebody else went into the world, gave it order and structure, developed a big idea, and wrote it down in a book. Now, we can take them on the greatest intellectual adventure. You do that. You look at this diversity and come back and tell us what big ideas. You're capable of big ideas. You're not a half-empty. You're full. So I think as the champions, you have this possibility with an asset approach to strengthen democracy, to support problem solving locally, to prepare students to be citizens who understand everyone is a citizen with a gift, to make your university's resources useful, and to do research that is challenging and difficult. Everybody wins. That's the wonderful thing about this. Everybody wins. Last week, somebody gave me a phrase from great Irish poet, Yeats, William Butler Yeats. And I thought, this is the motto of the champions in this room. Yeats said, education is not about filling a half-full glass. It is about lighting a fire. Experiential education is the match that lights that fire that makes education real. What a possibility you have. So right on.
At this time, we have about 15 minutes for audience questions for Dr. McKnight.
And I'm wondering if you would share any comments you might have about the role of thinking about trust and building networks of trust as part of this work.
Trust is not for, you don't have a program in developing trust. You have a set of initiatives that develop trust as its side effect. So the real question is, what is it that could happen that builds trust among people? And I think the map and its connectiveness is about the process of building trusting relationships among people. We have an experiment going on in Cincinnati, Ohio now, in which a neighbor on a block is starting out going to each household and meeting neighbors, trying to find another neighbor to join them in doing this until they know each one of them, everybody on the block. And what they're trying to find out from them is, what is your gift? What interests do you have? What things could you teach other people? And the effect of that discussion between neighbors is an amazing trust-building experience in and of itself.